Hello and welcome back to Ventura County Works, the podcast that explores the people, programs, and partnerships building a stronger workforce in Ventura County. This is Doug Foresta. Of course, here is Rebecca Evans, Executive Director of the Workforce Development Board of Ventura County. And today we're going to be diving into a program that's truly shaping the future. The NextGen program, which serves youth and adults ages 14 to 24. Whether you're a student, a recent graduate, or still figuring out your next step, then this episode is for you. Today, we have two incredible guests. Our first guest is Alex Renteria. She is a Senior Workforce Services Manager at the Workforce Development Board. Alex, welcome.
Hi, Doug. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. And also joining us is Daniela Pina, Mission Services Supervisor with Goodwill Industries of Ventura and Santa Barbara counties, one of the amazing NextGen program providers. Rebecca, Alex, Daniela, welcome.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Doug. So Alex, let's kick things off with the basics of what exactly is the NextGen program?
Thank you, Rebecca. So the NextGen program is basically Ventura County's local version of the WIOA youth program. WIOA stands for the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. It helps youth and young adults ages 14 to 24 prepare for success through education, training, and employment opportunities. Through this program, we're able to offer paid work experience, tutoring, mentorship, leadership training, and supportive services. One thing that I learned very quickly here is it takes money to get a job and or any training, as we know. So by enrolling in this program, we're able to eliminate those barriers, and it's all free. Our goal is to support our local youth in overcoming barriers and achieving either their educational or employment goals as well too.
That's an incredible list of services, and thanks for going over the structure, because a lot of times it's just referred to as the WIOA youth program, and no one knows what that means. But we had an interesting experience coming up with the name NextGen for the program. Daniela, who is this program really for, and who walks through the doors?
So we see a wide range of youth. Some individuals come from low-income communities and others are facing multiple barriers. Some are in high school that needing tutoring or career guidance. Others may be disconnected from school and work, possibly dealing with homelessness, parenting responsibilities, foster care involvement, justice involved, or these youth are overall very resilient and just need someone to believe in them and have someone help them connect the dots throughout their life goals.
All right. Yeah, excellent work. And I think it was really smart of the folks who put together the WIOA programs. And Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, of course, was preceded by different legislation for many years. But the fact that they have put special emphasis on working with young people and young adults to meet their needs, moving along their career pathway and into the workplace, I think is very important. Alex, what does eligibility for the program look like?
So eligibility for the program is pretty simple. So you have to be between the ages of 14 and 24 and have to have a barrier to employment. A barrier looks like being low income, so coming from a low income household, basic skill deficient, pregnant or parenting, have a disability, being a foster youth and or homeless, being involved in the justice system, and by enrolling in this program, our partners guide you through the process. They're not doing this alone. One thing I want to kind of also add to what you're saying, Rebecca, I think what you were saying is so true. It's so important to have programs like our NextGen program. I always share the example of myself. I came from a single parent household. Overall, I had a pretty well upbringing. I had a stable home. But the one thing that you also don't realize is you don't know how to navigate the system out of high school or how to navigate college. And then after college, what do? You go to school, even if you go, some people don't go to college. So I always say that the NextGen program is very similar to the College and Career Center at your local high school, but you're connected with the case manager one-on-one. That's a big difference versus the local career college center at your school, which or at school too, or a college, which they do a great job, but they have like if my team has a large caseload, their caseload is double that, if not triple. So it's hard to serve everyone. And it's like you mentioned, building that confidence and being that person for them to guide them through some of the hardships that they're facing.
Right. In our area, the counseling and career centers are working with thousands of people, and they do an outstanding job considering that capacity. But a program like NextGen, there's a lot more room for individualized work. So really benefits from both. There's information you need from that college and career center, but you also can get one-to-one assistance or guidance, questions answered, and help moving through education and our career pathway. And yeah, I can certainly relate to you. So I can remember figuring it all out on my own, like figuring out how to fill out that financial aid form or application form, and how to get a part-time job or do work study, all of those things, navigating them. And everyone had questions. That's what I remember, is everyone around me had questions on how to do all those things. So, and also, Alex, there's no cost for this program, right?
No, there's absolutely no cost to anyone who participates in this program.
Okay. Daniela, can you share a success story with us?
Yes, one of my favorite success stories to share is about a individual that was recently going into college. So they were attending their first quarter of college. They were failing their classes. They had came to us for a paid work experience. So we were able to successfully provide them with a paid work experience through our program. And during a phone call conversation with them, they shared that they started passing their classes, and they related it back to the experience of having the opportunity to do a paid work experience because they were lacking the time management skills, the soft skills needed, especially like the communication, and overall completing task was something that they were not able to do. So by doing the paid work experience, they said they had to learn those time management skills. They had to learn to complete tasks. So that is overall one of my favorite success stories to share, because it just goes to show that just having a paid work experience, having that experience in an employment can also help you achieve other goals, especially like in education and other important areas.
Yeah, I think often work and paid work can help tap into a person's internal motivation. A lot of times I think we come up in school and we're doing what we're told, we're doing what's assigned, we're doing what we feel like we have to do. And sometimes for some folks, there is a challenge in completing things, being motivated to do the work or ask for help or complete tasks, as you said. But sometimes going into a work experience environment, it shifts it, and the person is self-motivated to get things done and follow through because they want to do a good job, they want to keep the job, they want to get that pay for their work and see how they could be successful and thrive in the future. So, Alex, anything to add on that? What do you see people getting out of that work experience piece?
Well, I want to again add paid work experience is often also referred as a WEX. So if you hear the term WEX, just know that it is a paid work experience and similar to an internship. And this is where individuals are placed into local work sites throughout the community. So we partner with local employers, small business owners who are willing to take on our program participants and expose them, give them hands-on career exposure, and train them in an industry that either they might have just received a certificate for, a degree for, and they don't have any experience. And this also serves it serves as assistance to these local employers. But like you mentioned, it sparks the interest of the young adults. I mean, I knew I wanted to help people growing up, but I didn't know what that meant. Again, going back to why I could have used this program when I was like 17, 18 myself. It's not until you actually start working that you get that hands-on experience and you're like, oh, I like talking to people. Or you know what? I'm more of a behind the scenes type of a person. I love to do and data entry versus being out at the front desk type of type of an individual. So you kind of also get to learn a little bit more about yourself. Um, that can hopefully lead you to a career pathway. Again, through the NextGen program, maybe the first step might be going into a paid work experience, and you realize, okay, I like to be behind the scenes, and but I want to be in the medical industry, so I don't want to be first responder. I don't want to be hands-on nurse, possibly. There's so many opportunities that NextGen can open through just starting a paid work experience. If they complete a paid work experience at a medical office, they can realize, okay, I want to stay in this industry, but maybe I want to be an X-ray tech. We can then, once you complete the paid work experience, we can help you transition into the formal training needed for that. And again, that sets you up to a lifelong career. So it's awesome the opportunities that a paid work experience offers you.
Do you have some participants who are putting together their own earn and learn situation where they get the work experience, then maybe they move into training, education, taking classes? Are there some participants who work and go to school at the same time, continue to get experience?
Yes, there is. We have many participants who come in wanting to work in a medical office. Again, through the paid work experience, they're not going to be advising anyone and giving medical advice, but sometimes they're able to do some office work for them, or they're also going to be working at a skilled facility location. That's a great place for a paid work experience. They always need additional help. You're working with individuals that sometimes don't have family that visits them. So just even talking to these individuals connects them. But we've had individuals that go through these paid work experience and an interest sparks like, hey, I want to work in the medical field. Um, Again, we're not going to guarantee you a nursing degree through this program, but we can get you the first steps there, which would be getting your CNA certificate because it opens more opportunities for you in the workplace and more hands-on experience as well too. And if nursing is your goal, you're going to need that certificate anyway. So might as well let us help you cross that off your checklist.
So it's getting started, those first steps along the career pathway. Daniela, I understand we talked about this a little bit further, a little bit earlier, that counseling, guidance, helping a person with what they need all the way around in their life in order to be successful in work or in training. What does that look like in your program?
So first, it starts with building rapport, being comfortable with your assigned case manager. So each individual that comes in is paired with a case manager who walks along with them throughout the program. So if they may need guidance with maybe a college application or a employment application, our case managers do provide that support. Overall, it does start with building rapport. It starts with trust. Like I mentioned, each youth is paired with a case manager who becomes their advocate. So we also bring in community mentors, so people from local businesses or industries to talk with youth about their careers. It's about exposure and relationship building. So there are individuals, trusted individuals that support the youth throughout the program and to overall achieve their goals.
Yeah, and I want to express, I know from this program as well as everything that we do, you've mentioned working with local employers, partnering with mentors who can come in. The benefit to our local employers is in more than just one area. We're so appreciative of local employers, local companies that will take on those who are getting their work experience and help mentor someone. But those employers also know they're getting someone that is working with a case manager, that's working with a career navigator. So there is someone helping to guide them, helping them develop the essential skills of getting to work on time, what's appropriate behavior in the workplace, et cetera. And then the employer gets someone who's learning and also working for their company and may become a better trained employee in the future if that person goes into formalized training, upskills, and then continues to work for that employer or comes back to work for that employer. So we're very appreciative to the companies and the programs that provide that work experience and hire the young adults that complete the program. But it's more than just jobs. NextGen, or the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act Youth Program, requires 14 program elements. So written into the legislation that funds are 14 program elements that need to be offered to participants, and these are based on best practices. Alex, can you highlight just a few of those elements?
Yes, of course. So we're able to offer and connect you with tutoring and study skills training. Again, transitioning from high school into post-secondary education can be difficult, especially if you don't have teachers kind of on you the way that you do in a high school setting. And getting connected to the tutoring center at your local school sometimes is intimidating. So that's a great option that we're here as backup to all of the other resources that you already have. Dropout recovery support. Something that I wasn't aware of when we first started operating this program years ago was that kids were still dropping out of school. I thought that was a thing of the past, a thing that I grew up hearing. But recently there's been a higher dropout rate, and that's due to post-pandemic. That's due to, the economy and everything being so expensive. But a lot of the schools are reporting that there's less and less kids enrolling into school. They're wanting to go into work. That also ties in with kids want to work, but they can't get a work permit because they don't have the grades. We're here to essentially support that and build and gap that bridge, or bridge that gap, as I should say, for these individuals that do need to work but can't get the work permit because their grades are low. Post-secondary prep, like college tours and FAFSA help. Again, like Rebecca, you were saying, that FAFSA application, I remember it from years ago. It was so hard, and I can only imagine it getting harder. You need the support of your parents. It takes a village to fill out that application form, essentially. And we're here to support and guide you through that. Leadership development and service opportunities. So we have job shadowing opportunities, we have volunteer opportunities. And a lot of times you think, why would I want to do that? But it really does help you shape your future, and it helps you either become a good leader, realize that you have leadership skills. It helps you see that you like to give back to your community. And you also connect with other young individuals who are in the same boat as you. We also provide financial literacy. So we connected with local banks here in the community that provide these workshops. And if I can turn back time, and if someone could offer me financial literacy at 18, 19, 20, even today, a little bit of some help doesn't hurt. I would have definitely signed up for some financial literacy courses at that age, because being set up with proper knowledge of really what credit is, what loans look like, and how they affect you in the long run. That's really important. And it's a huge commitment that, colleges and financial institutions are willing to give you a credit limit of $5,000 when you turn 18. But what does that really look like? Education and job training aligned with in-demand sectors. So again, we try and see, so in Ventura County, what are the leading industries? There's healthcare. How can we get more individuals into the healthcare industries? We work locally with the port here of Wainimi. It's one of our biggest employers as well too. And what does the port offer? So even just getting tours of the port, I think, is very eye-opening for our young adults locally. And we're also able to offer comprehensive supportive services. So again, it takes money to get a job, and it also means you're in a good, healthy place. That also means mental health, making sure that you're okay to go into school and or a workplace, that you have transportation. Transportation comes in the form of a bus pass, a bicycle, or even helping you fill up your gas tank to get to and from interviews, and maybe to and from your first 2 weeks of work until you get paid. And we're able to assist you with housing support. So that getting those referrals turned in for housing assistance. If you're being kicked out of or being evicted, we're here to assist you as well too. We can't I wish we had homes to be able to support everyone's needs, but we work alongside a lot of our community agencies, and we're able to make those referrals and a warm handoff, which is different than just calling like a 1-800 number.
Right. That sounds like a real wraparound model, that best practice of being able to wrap around all the supports that a person would need, that holistic approach, so that they can be successful in the workplace. And that's what I mean. When employers hire someone working with us, there's backup for them, and there's resources available for them to help with anything that might come up. So the youth aren't just getting job help, they're getting life tools as well, right, Daniela?
Definitely. So overall, assisting them, like Alex mentioned, connecting them with local community resources. So making sure that they do have the basic needs that they need in order to allow them to be successful, whether they're in education or in employment. Overall, when they come through our program, they're not just more skilled, they're more confident, they're more connected to the resources and prepared for what's to come.
Mhm. And how can families connect to NextGen?
They can visit vcnextgen.org, or they can call us at 805-981-0130, or text us at 805-253-2650. Our staff is located across the county, so we do have an office in Oxnard, Ventura, and Simi Valley. And we also have a mobile van where we can go to different public settings and provide the services to them.
Right. So if a person goes to vcnextgen.org, they can also go to workforceventuracounty.org and get connected to the youth program through our website. Or they call that number 805-981-0130, or the text number 805-253-2650. And I think a lot of people and a lot of young people may prefer to reach out via text at first, so they know that they're going to connect with someone and then go from there. Daniela, what would you say to a young person who might be listening to this, or their family member who might be listening to this, and they're unsure if this is for them?
So I would say we meet you where you are. If you have a goal, even if it feels far away, we're here to help you get there. No judgment, just support. We will walk alongside with you throughout the whole program.
Okay. Alex?
I would say to the parents, caregivers, and community members, if you know any youth who can benefit, help them make the first step. Sometimes it takes someone else encouraging them to make a move, to really make a difference. I want to add, we already are partnered with a lot of the local high schools in the area, and a lot of the counselors do refer individuals to our program for additional services. So these are kids that they're already seeing through their doors, and office hours coming in, and they're sending them over to us for additional help, because again, it really does take a village for an individual to be successful, and we're just a small piece of that village here.
And I know we have the services countywide. There's a central location where you are, but these services are available throughout Ventura County, correct?
Yes, like Daniela mentioned, we have a mobile unit. So we have an office on wheels that we can take out to your area. If you're a local organization that wants us to go out and do outreach at your location or just meet with individuals, we can do that. We have an office located in Oxnard at 1401 North Bryce Avenue. And we also have an office in Simi Valley as well as in Ventura. So we are available all over the county. Again, we'll meet you where you are.
Okay, awesome. And I mentioned this a little bit at the beginning, but the name NextGen for our program through the Workforce Development Board, the manager of this program from the Workforce Board, Andrea Sanchez, and I know you worked with a focus group of young people, and they came up with the name. So we didn't put this label on it or put the name on it. We actually worked with a group of young people that came up with the name, and they wanted to call this NextGen. So that is what it is, and that's what the program will will be throughout the life of our federal funding for workforce innovation programs. Thank you both so much for joining us and sharing the incredible work of what you do. To our listeners, please spread the word about NextGen. You never know who might need an opportunity and what a change this could make in their life. So again, you can learn more at vcnextgen.org. And until next time, Doug, I'll throw it over to you.
Absolutely. So, yeah, just as we wrap up here, first of all, I just want to say, so impressed with. It's so interesting to know that Next Gen name was actually created by the young people, because that is a great name, and of course, they, makes sense that they came up with it because they're so attuned to themselves and and their colleagues. But also just to say that, it's really clear to me what I'm so impressed with as well. Obviously, the job development, but the entire wraparound, as you said, about the village, right? That it really does. I know it's a cliche, but it is true that it takes a village, and the comprehensive services to make sure that young people not only gain employment but keep employment, and that is a step into young adulthood. I think is really impressive. So. Rebecca, always great to be with you. Alex and Daniela, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your words of wisdom on this wonderful program.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.